Don't know where it goes. I'm on a road. Follow your heart. It won't let you down. Follow your heart. Take the steps beyond your way. Take the steps. When you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, shine, shine. You're gonna shine. All right, we're all back. Welcome to the ranch with me, Randie O'Neill. It's good to be back. We took a week last week so everyone could enjoy their vacation time. But we're back in full swing until the next holiday. We put on the brakes a little bit so everyone can enjoy. So welcome again. This is an interactive. We are going across 7 platforms. What you type in the comments, we can see. So feel free, everyone, to say hello and to join us. We have a great show tonight. I'm really happy because there are a lot of artists that you know their name, and you're traveling in same circles, and you know the same people, and you finally get to meet them. And that's the case tonight. And I'm so thrilled to finally catch up with John Surge. Hello.
Hi, Randie.
How are you?
Great to be here. I'm doing well, thanks.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So people are just going to be joining us. We'll give them a few minutes to kind of chime in.
Sure.
But let's start. This is On the Ranch, and we talk really all things that are country music. And you know as well as I do, country music these days is a broad field. It's a wide, a lot of people call, yeah, right? A lot of people call their stuff country. Your stuff is like pure honky tonk.
Well, thank you. I think that's a compliment.
Pure fun, and we're going to get some more of that. But talk to me about what's country to you. Why country music?
Well, why country music? That's a good question. For me, I feel like it's country music found me more than I found it. Maybe it's just kind of how I write. Lyrically, song structures, kind of how I sing. I kind of was handed some tools or some ways that I go about things, and it just seems to be natural that it fits into they got to put you somewhere into a country genre. And but with that said, I do take a lot of inspiration from classic country, and all the way from the 50s through the 90s, and take the best of that and try to learn from it and try to research it and take that. So I would assume that kind of gets into my music, because I'm really trying to just immerse myself in what I think is the best country music, and hopefully somehow that kind of ekes through and comes out in the songs that I write.
Well, it's interesting because your music is really upbeat, like the honky tonk, like dancing. And it's interesting that that's you is the country music, the upbeat, let's have some fun. Let's go to a bar and raise some cane, right?
Yeah. Well, some of that's, because that's where we're playing. We're playing a lot of bars, a lot of people who don't know us. And, so it is about having a good time. I always think of it's like there's nothing more valuable than making people feel great on a Friday and Saturday night, having a couple of drinks after they've had a hard week. And I take that kind of responsibility seriously. We're there to entertain them, have a great time, and, let people kind of blow off some steam.
So that's interesting, because at the end of the day, we're entertainers, and that is our job. And you have to know where your audience, and maybe a bar audience, is different than some other rooms that you're going to play.
Right. Yeah, we play a lot of bars. We play a lot of breweries and barbecue places, you know, and sometimes we play a lot of places that are used to hearing cover bands. So, you know, we're kind of competing with that. So we want, so yeah, there's a little bit of, you know, we're trying to be higher energy. And honestly, that's kind of what I like. I respond, I try to play music that I like. And if I go to see music, I tend to, you know, I love all kinds of music. One of the best shows I've saw in the last few months was Roseanne Cash.
Mm.
You know, very, very, it was, you know, her and her husband, and very sedate for the most part, you know, just gorgeous, beautiful. I love that. But for the most part, you know, I'm kind of responding to high energy, upbeat, like you say, honky tonk, somewhat, you know, kind of loud and rowdy.
Loud and rowdy. And then again, you find your audience from there, like the bars, and I'm sure you pick your set lists accordingly. But
Oh yeah.
you're my hero in that you brought up the whole, you know, some people want to listen to cover music. They don't know that they really want a good original music.
That's
See,
right.
and you kind of have to slide it in there and make it fun and worth listening to.
Yeah, to me, that's a great challenge. You know, we have a lot of that. I mean, it's just kind of a wave right here, certainly in Southern California, even in LA. You know, a lot of cover bands, a lot of tribute bands. So I take that as a big challenge, right? So we go in and
Mm-hmm.
we play music they've never heard, and you know, let's see if we can convert them.
Now, you're talking about LA.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to dispel the stigma of country music is like South, you know, and that country music's everywhere. And I had somebody on YouTube, thank you, says, yes, there's country music in South Africa. Thank you for listening. I know it's 6 hours later that you're going to be listening when you're waking up and, you know, things like that. You're ahead of us by a lot.
Yeah.
But country music alive and well, is it a harder sell in LA?
Well, anything's a hard sell in LA. Everybody's so jaded, right? But there's kind of a dedicated, you know, like in any big city. I'm sure even in New York, you know, there's just bars that focus on that, and you got to find your little niche. So it's not like you know, the large venues are having country music, but there's venues, and Southern California has a rich history of country music. I mean, it's phenomenal when you look at it. You know, from the 40s and the 50s, from you know, bands that came from and acts that came from Bakersfield, but just, you know, a lot of influences I have are from 80s country music in LA. You know,
And it's
so
a mix of people in Southern LA, like in South California. You really have a lot of different cultures coming together.
yeah, that's for sure. And you know, and such a large space. You know, it's, I mean, LA, right? So it's Southern California. It runs from, you know, probably Santa Barbara to San Diego, and we play all over there, and all kinds of different venues and all kinds of different folks that you run into. So, you know, sometimes sometimes I get this, you know, hey, I don't like country music, but I like you guys. You know, I don't know if that's a compliment or what, but someone on the radio in Connecticut said you might be a gateway to country music, so I'll take that.
You know, country music doesn't know what country music is these days. I mean, you talked a little bit about song structure, and
Yeah,
I'm a big stickler on song structure because I really wanted to know what makes a country song. Well, there's imagery. Folk music uses imagery, you know, and then you go into the, you know, pre-chorus, chorus. Well, that's rock and pop, you know, and all these things kind of seem to be merging together.
right. Well, you know, if you really want to get down into it and kind of get in deep, you know, I think a lot of it is simple song structures that are, you know, passed down, and they don't veer from tradition, right? So a lot of country music is about keeping the tradition and not feeling like you have to reinvent the wheel every time you write a song.
Okay.
So I think it's very lyrically driven, you know, whether they're goofy lyrics, comedy lyrics, insightful lyrics, you know, heartbreaking. So lyrics, I think, drive country music, even, you know, not the country music I like, you know, Nashville country. It's still very lyrically driven, I think. And then sonically, there's certain things that I think speak country, right? Certain instruments, pedal steel, banjo, fiddle for sure, you know, mandolin, those textures, I think. So when you start adding it all together, I think people hear, oh, that's country, you know, but it's got all kinds of, right? It's got rockabilly and blues and folk and, you know, it's all in there. So,
Oh, we got some rappers.
okay.
Some country rap.
Oh, for sure. That's for sure.
You know, bit of a controversy. I think it's so lyrically driven. I almost think you could take some of those rap lyrics and really kind of, you know, melodically shift it, and you'd see a country song, you know.
Oh yeah. That's what someone covered, gin and juice, right? You know, so absolutely, if they're good lyrics, for sure. I think that's you know, there was a time, you know, Straight Outta Compton, I love that record, you know, when it came out. It's just an amazing record. But yeah, I think the best country music today is very you know, it's the best storytelling, is what I think.
Right. And you do stick to some tried and true topics. A lot of it's funny because you and I don't seem to have much luck, like in the dating bar scene.
Yeah, well, I'm happily married, and you know, it's not necessarily all autobiographical. For me, what it is I'm a kind of a snoop. You know, I'm listening in on conversations, and you know, I got my antenna up, and I'm trying to capture anything that I can hear and write it down or write it in my phone. But yeah, there's a lot of it's a lot of relationship driven material for me, and you know, it's what country's a good heartbreak music, right?
Yeah, that it is. But you have a song. The first song up is going to be "Your Wonderful Life," which it's a little snarky.
It's a little snarky. Yeah.
First time I listen, I'm like, oh, you know, like I'm thinking of the movie, you know, and I'm like, oh, that's got some. Yeah. I know I'm the one who has to tone down their snarky when I'm writing. Like, hey, we gotta dial that back.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, it's this one goes back to the first album.
Okay. All right, why don't we give it a listen, and you can tell us all about it when we come back.
I like it.
I just gotta know, are you looking? Then just let me go. Here you come again, I'm drawn to the light. I'm on the outside looking at your wonderful life. Where you going? Who you seeing? What are you buying? Who are you meeting? You know, if you ask, I just might. I'm on the outside looking at your wonderful life. Another party, too many pictures, yeah, you sure get around. Another good time, looks like a good time to drag me down. Your band's playing, you're never home. I'm eating takeout and I'm all alone. I don't wonderful life. You're telling stories, you're making movies, yeah, you sure get around. It's a good time, another good time to drag me down. You're always talking, you're always right. You're looking good in that perfect light. Do you ever feel like I feel tonight? I'm on the outside looking at your wonderful life. I'm on the outside looking at your wonderful life. I'm on the outside looking at your wonderful life.
And we are back with John Surge. That was a wonderful life. Now, I'm hearing like some little LA in there, like, you know, with all of the stars and everything. You are looking at their life and thinking how wonderful, but yet you keep looking and it's not so grand. Was that in there?
uh, it's hard to say, but I would just say it's that kind of that longing for, like you're saying, you're seeing someone else's life, and sometimes it seems a little bit better than yours, or you feel like people are a little better off than you are, and sometimes it hurts. But sometimes you can be a little snarky about it.
Yeah. Well, Billy's been listening and he liked it. Thought it was
All
a
right.
great song. So Billy's chimed in. If anyone else is watching, this is interactive. If you have any questions, any thoughts, throw them out there, and we could add it to what we're doing. So, all right. So, okay. So you did that. Do you write with your band? Do you write separate of the band?
For most of the songs are written by me, kind of just me with a guitar, in my room, my music room. Some of the songs are co-written with my guitar player, Randie, and then occasionally I'll go co-write with someone else from some other musician. So I do a little bit of everything.
Co-writing is a strange animal.
Yes, it is. That is for sure.
You can have two of the most talented people in the room. It doesn't mean they can co-write a song.
No, I've gotten better at it. It used to be just torture for me, just kind of sitting there staring at each other. For me, it's always thing is not to have judgment too soon in co-writing. That's like the biggest thing. I've done some actually really good co-writing just lyrically with email, trading your lyrics, trading emails and honing lyrics and writing back, like you write a line, I'll write a line, you write a line, I'll write a line, and kind of build it from there. But it is hard. It is hard. I think it's a learned skill.
It is, and I did one face-to-face. This was way before COVID with Anthony Cruzan. He was the guitar player for the Spin Doctors.
Okay.
And I'm in this room with he's just a massive talent. I'm like, oh, he agreed to co-write with me, and I don't know why. And you know what? There was this glaring blank screen, and we had a different process, but we were able to bring it together, which I was
good.
Really happy.
That's the thing with everybody's got a little different way they go about it, and it's hard if you don't have an idea to start from. That usually helps for me.
Right. Now, do you write from prompts? Do you, like you said, you're eavesdropping and then something just piques your interest?
I tend to write from titles. I know some people don't believe in that sort of thing. But that's where for me it's kind of weird. If I don't have a title, it's hard for me. I do write some songs where the whole song's written with melodies and chords. The whole song's written, but there's no words, or there's just jumble words. For me, those are harder songs to write because you got to fit and wedge the words in to what you've already set up. I've done a lot. I do study Bob Dylan, and not to say that I could approach him, but what I did study a lot that he wrote lyrics first, and I do that a lot now. So I will write just basically a poem, and then take that and put it to music. Kind of also, it's Bernie Taupin, Elton John, and
well, think of that co-write. Think of that experience. I mean, one person that's totally lyrics and one person that's totally music.
right,
and it works for them. They have a tremendous process. I don't know what it is. Do they email? Do they sit in the same room? It's amazing.
Yeah, from what I've read and understood, Bernie Taupin sent Elton lyrics, and then it was up to Elton. I don't know that Bernie Taupin had any input into, how the song sounded or where they went. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's not very many instances. I think in general most artists don't write from lyrics first, but that's something I've just from getting frustrated from having to almost like settle for something that I've kind of cornered myself into by creating a melody and then now I have to put words to it. Paul McCartney did it pretty well.
Well, I start lyrics. I always have, because I'm a singer first, and I can play guitar. Like I have a little guitar, and I tend to make up chords in my head, and I can't find them on the guitar.
Okay, so, yeah.
I'm always backing into stuff, but for me, that's where I always start. I need to know, like, I'm not starting with the chorus. Like you start with the title, which is like the chorus, and then I get the feel of it and work kind of through verse.
Yeah, sometimes I just try to force myself to do something different, so I'm not in the same pattern.
Yes.
So that helps me to kind of break out of my own box. It's for me, it's like a never-ending process to see how good you can get, how better you can get at writing songs.
And it's not a matter of time either. There are some songs that take years. There are some that fall into your lap, like you said, and almost completely written.
I wish that happened more for me, but I've had ones that taken years for sure.
Yeah.
But for this latest record, it's kind of interesting. I did a little process and so I kind of hunkered down and I made a pledge to myself that I'd write 2 songs a week for 3 months. And I would say, so that would be, I didn't quite make 2 a week, but by the end of it, I had, I think 17 songs. And that became the bulk of this record. And it's the foundation of the one I'm working on right now as well.
Right. There's an organization that has a website. I wish I could remember the name of it. Is it Songsters or something like that? Where they take February, where you're supposed to write a song a day for the whole month of February.
Oh.
I think I made it a few days in.
Yeah. That's hard.
I'm like, I'm going to work on this for a while.
Yeah.
Stop it. I can't,
Yeah. That's a good, I think there's something like that to challenge, 2 a week was a lot for me, was a challenge for me, but 1 a day would be super hard, I think. But the thing was, my pledge was to finish it, right? So it had to be finished in 2 weeks. You can kind of get an idea every day, but to actually finish it's I think the hard part. I'm sure some people can do it, that would be a challenge.
Right. I can write lyrics every day. It doesn't mean they're going to make sense and be good. I really like to to take my time and really, to me, finish a song. I'm not the most prolific songwriter, but I take my time with what I do and I hone my craft.
Yeah, I hear you.
You have a similar process there where you want a quality song, not just a million songs that are halfway there.
Right.
So, what do we have coming up next? I'm open to this next one, which is Big Train. Is there another meaning to this Big Train? I mean, come on.
Well, there's a little story behind Big Train, and you can take whatever meaning you want out of it. I will say there may be a little double entendre there. So Big Train is not a song I wrote. Big Train is a song written by Tony Kinman and Chip Kinman of the band Rank and File. They're kind of a famous Austin, then to LA band that kind of was a forerunner of the cowpunk movement in the 80s. And so I'm kind of a big fan of them. And this song they wrote after that. They wrote it as an electronica band, if you can imagine that. And I just found the song I didn't find it, but I liked it and I kind of reinvented it. And then I got Chip Kinman to sing and play on it. So that's what this song is all about.
So what's the meaning behind it though?
Well, you'd have to ask the writers, but or just listen, right? But yeah, there's a few messages running through it if you listen to it. But they're as many things in music, sexual tension tends to run through many of the songs.
Many of the songs. All right, listeners, I want you to chime in, and maybe not. Here we go with Big Train.
coming back. So come along and ride the big train. Big train, big train. Do you wanna ride the big train? Big train, big train. There's plenty of room on the big train. Big train, big train. Do you wanna ride the big train? Big train, big train. There's plenty of room on the big train.
All right, welcome back to the ranch. We're here with John Surge tonight. We got some great honky tonk going for you tonight. Some great upbeat country music for you. And your band is John Surge and the Haymakers.
That's right.
And sometimes you're a trio. Sometimes there's more of you. I see in the video.
Well, no, it's almost always I do some duo shows and solo shows, but mostly it's either a 4-piece or a 5-piece. So
Okay.
2 guitars, bass, and drums, and sometimes we add pedal steel or keyboards. Lately, we've been having a pretty steady 5th member playing pedal steel. In that video, Chip Kinman, who was a co-writer of the song, he was singing along with me in that video.
That's great. My first producer was Marty Rifkin, big pedal steel guy out in LA.
Marty Rifkin played on my first record.
He's a great guy.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah.
Really, one of the most, he had such a great influence. For the first time in the studio, I couldn't have learned from like a bigger, more sincere artist,
Yeah, he's a great guy. It was just amazing to watch. I went to the session when he laid down the tracks for the record with Kevin Jarvis, the producer, and it was fun to watch. Actually played some guitar as well.
Oh yeah, he's talented. And
Yeah.
he's played with just about anybody, but he hands me my CD and he said, do yourself a favor. Don't have it reviewed, because when you ask people's opinion, they're going to say something and you know where your strengths are and what aren't. And I'm like, that's like the best advice I think I've ever gotten.
Sure.
If you ask people for an opinion, they're going to have one,
That's right.
They're going to have something to say. So he was really wonderful. So have you used the same people for the next and upcoming albums?
I do tend to kind of branch out, and I do use a lot of musicians that are not in my live band. So on this record that just came out in September, I actually went to Texas to record it. So I kind of went producer first. I selected the producer I wanted to work with, his name is Tommy Dedamore, and he's kind of known for he's done Jim Lauderdale records. He did the last Doug Somm record, Sonny Sweetie, Bill Kirchen, Jesse Daniel. So I kind of like the sound of his records and decided, what the hell? I make a joke that because there's no studios in LA, I had to go to Texas to find a studio, right? But so my guitar player, Randie and I, we actually drove all the way to San Antonio, kind of the outskirts, a little hick town on the south of San Antonio, and kind of holed up for 9 days and recorded most of the record in that time. And we used a group of musicians that work with Tommy that are all from Austin.
Oh,
so
Austin,
it really depends.
Great music town.
Yeah. And you know what? Every one of them had a linkage to LA. It was very interesting that every one of the musicians there had at one time or another lived in LA or played in LA.
That's interesting. That really
Yeah.
is. The people listening who don't understand that might not be musicians, how important is the picking your producer and the chemistry of your producer?
Well, it's really everything, and I've, you know, it's something that's kind of a mystery always, you know, to try to figure out who the best person to work with. And I remember we drove all the way, you know, to Texas, and Tommy said, "Well, I guess you put a leap of faith, you know," and you don't ever really know. You know, you talk on the phone a little bit, you know the records, but you don't know how. And there's all kinds of stories of, you know, people walk in and they have personality conflicts, you know, straight off the bat. Um, in in the last two records, and in this one in particular, since it's the most recent, I feel like we really hit on it. You know, Tommy really knew what I was trying to do with the record, gave me great input, great advice, you know, put a great band together. Then he had also, on top of it, he's just a phenomenal pedal steel player. So all the pedal steel on the record is Tommy, actually the producer, playing on it.
Oh, that sounds like something we want to hear.
Yeah.
That's really good. But you drove all that way. And again, it's like dating. I swear it's the only comparison when you're working with musicians are important, but that producer, you're handing them your children, you know, like, you know, it's up to them to take your ideas and make them color, you know, and you walk in that room and it could be like, oh, you know, and you know almost instantly if there's that spark and that kind of creative chemistry at work.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, and he does have a process. He does kind of make records in a certain way. And I had to just kind of trust it really. And it was faster than I've ever recorded. You know,
Wow.
we went in and so we recorded the foundation, what they call the basic tracks, for you know those who may not know, the band playing the song. That's kind of the foundation, the drums, the bass, and in our case, keyboards, guitars. And we recorded 10 songs in really 4 hours a day for 2 days. I mean, it was just phenomenal.
Wow.
And,
Billy says it sounds like it looks like a good marriage. So.
yeah, it was really, you know, just even mixing, there was very little that I had, you know, very little input, honestly. You know, so I wanted to make a real country record.
Is that hard for you though? Is that hard for you? Kind of. It sounds like you're used to being a little more hands-on.
Well, sometimes you get hands-on when you lose trust, right?
Okay.
Or things aren't quite feeling instinctively, you know, like they should. In this case, I felt like it was, you know, my vision more and plus more. So that it was a great feeling.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really good. So you were able to trust him and say, you know what, run with it. I trust you. You're going to make this into something big.
Well, at the lightning speed that we were recording at, honestly, I didn't have much chance or much say. It was going to be what it was going to be. Now, you know, as we put overdubs and put stuff on, you know, then things got a little bit more where we were kind of, what's the right thing? What does need to be changed, and editing and that sort of thing. But laying it down and really the core of it was, you know, it was my songs and his process, and we were just kind of, it was a big train going down the track.
Right. Have you started video for that yet? I see you like doing videos. I mean, you have quite a few videos up on YouTube.
You know, there's one more video for this. So yeah, I did 3 videos for this this new record, just because it's a good way to get the press to cover the songs and the music. And I have a couple of really good folks that I know that can, make videos that I think that make me feel comfortable. Because video is a whole nother thing where you have very little input, right? So there's a lot of trust there that you don't look silly, in a music video. And so the 3 that we did for this record, I feel really good about. There's one that hasn't quite it was just released for Rattle Me. It was just premiered on Americana UK website, and it'll be coming out this next week to the public.
Oh, cool. Cool. So, yeah, there's so many different dimensions to just one song. You have the production piece. That's one thing. Now it's there. All right, now how do you bring it to life even more? You make a video. You got to get it up on a platform. There's so many different balls in the air for just one song.
Yeah, 1 3-minute song. There's a lot that goes. There's a lot that goes into it. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. It would seem a lot. It would seem like it should be a lot easier and a lot simpler, but.
Well, it's so simple that 60,000 songs a day are uploaded to Spotify.
Well, that's true. That's true.
So it must be easy since 60,000 people a day are putting their stuff up there. But now you got.
I don't know if I needed to hear that. That's a scary number.
It's huge. That's why Spotify has just revamped their whole funding process. And they aligned it with some of the other channels. They're like, now's the cutoff. And all the labels have always done this. The number now is 1,000. If you don't hit 1,000 plays, you get nothing. You could be at 750. But everyone else have always been that way. There's always been some type of cutoff, because they're getting flooded.
Yeah. It's there's good and bad, right? There's just, but it has become real easy to make music and put music out, and there's less gatekeepers, but the saturation makes it harder on the listener to really, still explore music and try to find new music and not just stick to the tried and true stuff that it's probably why classic rock is so prevalent, right? It's an easy go-to because you don't have to do a lot of work, to find good music there.
I was just thinking that some of the stations too don't make it easy, like to skip a song that maybe doesn't resonate with you, so they're going to go to a station that they know is tried and true.
Right. Yeah, that's true. It's really true. But, I think, to me, I'm always trying to find new music, new artists doing cool stuff, writing something that sounds unique and different. And, I don't think you can, I'm sure people do it. They just listen to the same music over and over. But I like to explore new artists and, fresh artists.
I do too, and I think the beauty of country music, which is different than pop, in a pop billboard, you're going to have the same artists there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. For country, they do seem to give new artists a listen, and there seems to be a little bit, like we were talking about a little bit before about the AMA charts. There's constantly people kind of moving up and down, and they seem to be more open to the new music that's coming out.
Yeah, I think that's really true. The community stations, the college stations, the AMA stations, they seem to be searching for something. They seem to take pride in introducing, and being a little curating and saying, hey, I found something that I think is worthy, and I'm going to expose you to it. So that's what I love. I love that about satellite radio. I love that about, AMA radio. By being on, having my record released and getting airplay on AMA radio, I got to listen to some of the stations across the country, and they're so good. They're just, they do just an amazing job of really, you can tell it's done with love. It's done with a lot of love and care, and they don't let stuff in that easy. It's not, they're getting a lot of stuff in. So, I feel proud that, we got this record to 32 in the album chart, and got some good airplay around the country.
Right. And I talked to some of these, when you interview these radio stations, these people, it's amazing the amount of music they literally go through and pick their best, and to make it through that process, is amazing. That's something that the streaming radio, nobody's a gatekeeper, like you said, but these radio stations, which is why I think they're still alive and well, is because somebody's curating for them and showing the best and the brightest of what's out there. And I still love radio for that.
Yeah. And there's just, there's one in LA, there's one, there's many in cities. It just gives you a personality to the community. And, there's local news, local, personalities on there, and they're playing local music as well. So there's still room for it. Obviously it's tough. Everything's fighting for space in our brains, whether it's vinyl, CDs, radio, the streaming services, videos. I mean, it's kind of nuts.
It is. Well, speaking of kind of nuts, let's go with your next video up is You're So Right.
This one's got a lot of Tommy Dedamore pedal steel in it, as well as Randie Gold guitar.
All right, so let's hear some good pedal steel.
All right.
Tried to tell me, but my heart wouldn't listen. I was too busy thinking about the hugging and the kissing. You stepped on the brakes, I never saw the lights. Little by little there was something missing. I could tell our love was in a bad condition. I tried to hold on with all my might. You're so right. Didn't take that long from I think I love you till I think I'm gone. You're so right. It's like a sad love song. Honey, you're so right. We're so wrong. About a fine romance when you talk to me, puts me in a trance. Every day with you, it's like Saturday night. We can blame it on whatever circumstance. I thought about fighting for another chance. All it took was one last night. You're so right. Didn't take that long from I think I love you till I think I'm gone. You're so right. It's like a sad love song. Honey, you're so right. We're so wrong. You're so right. Didn't take that long. From think I love you till think I'm gone. You're so right. It's like a sad love song. Honey, you're so right. Honey, you're so right. We're so wrong. You're so right. Didn't take that long. From I think I love you till I think I'm gone. You're so right. It's like a sad love song. Honey, you're so right. We're so wrong.
All right, and we're back on the ranch here with John Surge. I gotta say, I'm impressed with the female bass player. Yay!
Yeah, that's
She was, and
Teresa Cowles. Yeah, she's been with us for 6 years now. She's great.
yeah, I saw her in a couple of the videos, and I was like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think you guys have it tough in the business? You know, what,
Oh, yeah.
1 in 5 band members is a girl. So
Yeah. We always hear the stories, you know, like if a sound man, if something's wrong with her equipment or something's not working, the sound men are, you know, are oftentimes a little bit, they kind of will question her ability to use her own equipment, you know, if you know what I mean. So
yes, I do.
yeah, there's a lot of sexism still in the music business with women playing music.
Yeah, it is alive and well, and it's
Yeah.
you know, things like that are a little bit more subtle, but there are a lot more kind of overt things that are going on. So I'm glad you're right behind your female and supporting each other, and I love that.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's just because it's a tough business all the way around,
That is for sure. And you know, we don't even more of it, you know, the more hurdles and more challenges. It's challenging enough.
Because I really think the indie artists are really at their best when they're supporting each other and not, bringing each other down. It's just too hard.
Yeah, we have a great community in LA and Southern California, really supportive. You know, it's a really an amalgamation of, you know, this country, what you call Americana, roots music, a lot of new grass, you know, bluegrass, and it's a really supportive community. So I feel really fortunate to be part of that. And a lot of friends, and you go to a show and it's like a friendly get together and very supportive, not competitive really at all.
Oh, that's great. And that's the way it should be. That's what music is all about. So we have a couple more minutes here, John. Tell us what's coming up next. Where can we find you? Where are you going to be? Tell us all things John Surge.
Well, I have a couple of actually duo shows. Randie and I are going to do a couple of opening gigs for with Sunny Sweeney. I don't know if you know Sunny Sweeney, but she's a great touring Texas singer, and she's coming out here to play a show in Ramona, California on December 7th. and in West Hollywood on December 10th. And we're been fortunate enough that we're going to be opening up those two shows. And then, yeah, so that's going to be real exciting, real fun. And then our our monthly fourth Wednesday show right after Christmas, 2 days after Christmas, we'll be doing a full-on honky tonk show, kind of get the cobwebs off the holidays. And there's a dive bar we play in Tarzana called Maui Sugar Mill Saloon, and we're kind of regulars there. And so we always look forward to that, and that's always a great time.
Oh, when you have a regular crowd, that's got to be the best.
Yeah,
right?
That's good.
You know,
yeah.
That's really, really good. So your new music has dropped, is dropping, will be dropping?
The new music, the record, the new album called Almost Time was released in late September. And so it's been out now about 2 months and a couple weeks or so. So it's available on Bandcamp, through johnsurge.com, and of course all the streaming stuff, Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon and all that stuff as well.
Well, again, if you really want to support your local artist, you'll go to Bandcamp on Fridays, and download a song, because all that money goes to the artist, where Spotify, you have to play a song 317 times for you to get $1. So, guys, everyone out there listening, man, that's how you support. That's how you support your artist, Yeah.
So you either have a choice: go there, listen to it, download it, and you can listen to it 300 times, or keep hitting play 300 times on Spotify.
That's right. That's right. The choice is yours. Choose wisely.
That's right. I'll take either one. Either one's good.
Or come to the show. Hit the tip jar. We need to eat. We need to eat.
Well, thank you so much for having me on here. Thanks for doing this. This is very cool. And it was
I'm glad. I know. I'm glad between our schedules we were able to work it out. And we got to thank Joe for making the introduction. So
That's
give
right.
him a shout out, Joe Estrada, our guy, for helping us out. So we're here every Monday, well, mostly every Monday at 7 Eastern time. So you're still in the afternoon. Like, I'm ready to put my slippers on and
yeah.
You guys are just getting going there.
That's right. We're having sunset. We have a beautiful sunset here in California right now.
I love I've had interviews in New Zealand, and they're like a day ahead. It's
right.
The craziest thing. Like, you're in the previous night, and they're starting their morning show. It's really, really crazy.
Yeah.
So, well, John, we look forward to hearing your music. YouTube, go to Bandcamp, find you, go to a live show, and we look forward to seeing you around.
Okay. Thank you so much, Randie.
All right. Thanks for hanging out.
Take care. Bye-bye.
I'm on the road, don't know where it goes. I'm on a road, follow your heart, it won't let you down. Follow your heart, take the steps, be on your way. Take the steps, when you have a dream, you gotta start. It's the only way. If you're gonna shine, and you're gonna shine, 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 you're gonna shine.
All right, so we're clear.
Okay.
I thought that went well.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought it was fun. And we had some people popping in and out.